Is it?
Cassie? You Maggie?
I met Luke and Jonah at Pam's house, who is essentially Luke's grandma's house. My mom and I were staying at her B&B, and we met for like 15 minutes. Honestly, I don't remember too much. I remember Jonah having really blue eyes, and I remember Luke having a podcast and being a photographer.
We actually have someone getting married though. It's not me and Dawson, luckily.
We're all ashamed. We're all bummed out about that.
If anyone's ever interested in such a an endeavor, hit me up. I got you covered. It's gonna cost you, but it's probably worth it. You're probably worth a wedding.
All I remember thinking was a local that could show me around. This could be a good contact.
A few things I remember gathering from that conversation. One was that Kirsty had taken the COVID vaccine, which is a red flag, but also that she was a Christian girl that was somewhere close to my age. So I was like, this is interesting. I should got her Instagram. The problem was she was leaving next week, so she told me that we could try to plan and do something, but I think she just said that to be nice because yeah, she never really responded.
So when I was planning to go back to Aspen, and I thought I've got to get plugged into community, and the only other young person I could remember that was going to be around was Luke.
Yeah, that's the first time I heard from her again, and I think I was pretty excited.
Yeah, I think my intentions at the time might have been maybe not so good, using a local to get around, but I definitely wasn't expecting anything to come from it.
Also, if anyone's wondering who Kirsty is, she's from South Africa, hence the accent. And yeah, we've just been hanging out, having fun together. We both love Jesus, so that's kind of probably the main connection there. But yeah, it was quite an adventure today, so hopefully she's still my friend after it.
Oh, this is going well. Here's a snowmobile. Here comes my special friend.
When I got to the cabin, it was just like a piece of heaven. It was peaceful, it was beautiful. I didn't know all the toys that Luke had. I thought it was a little bit extra when I saw the snowmobile outside my room, but I did think he was a little bit crazy because he had lived by himself for quite a while. He would definitely bachelor fever would be speaking to himself and finding little voices.
Upgrade your SD card. Yeah.
And his meals at the time were questionable.
With Luke one-on-one.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
What are you making?
That's flavor.
What is that?
It'll be fun, they said.
We're looking for some pine needles to make tea. Because we just have hot water right now.
At the end of that time, I think I was, from what I could read, I thought she liked me.
It's still broken.
By the book,
Still stuck.
goody two shoes,
So we're happy.
kind person
you.
that just didn't even think he had any interest. Then the night before I'm about to leave the country, he pulls up with a, "Do you want to be my Valentine?" And I'm like, wait, what? It's like, where did this come from?
But unfortunately, we weren't going to be in America on Valentine's Day. I was going to Mexico with the family, and she was going back to South Africa for her brother Ian's wedding. He was getting married to Sasha, so we just decided to write each other a letter, and then we'd open on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, all I remember from my letter, Luke will tell you otherwise, but what I remember most is me saying, "Roses are red, soft at the touch. I didn't have time, so don't expect much."
So the letter Kirsty wrote me was great. So I was like, wow, this girl really values our friendship and has a really deep understanding of kind of who I am and what I want to pursue and God and all these things. And so it just got me excited. to see her again.
And I'm sure I wrote something nice, just, open-ended, not anything leading or whatever. But Luke wrote a really cool letter that I was quite shocked or taken back by. I still had pretty strong emotions for the guy that I was seeing, although we weren't together at the season. I wouldn't say I was fully over him, and so that's why I was so cautious in the whole Valentine's thing. I didn't want to hurt Luke, and I didn't know what his intentions were. Didn't want the commitment. And so when I went back to South Africa, I thought that I was going to be there for 2 weeks and then I was going to come back and carry on with work as normal.
So Kirsty had told me that she was coming back and that it'd be great if I could pick her up from the airport.
As I got to New York, I was flagged and pulled aside and was told that I was on the wrong visa. I was told that I could call one person. It was 2 in the morning in South Africa. And I was like, I'm going to call Luke because he's obviously going to answer his phone.
And I was like, well, the only person I know that's probably in New York right now is Kirsty, so I'm just going to pick up just in case, because I was assuming it was probably a scam call. But it was Kirsty on the other side, and she was kind of like frantically telling me first that she wasn't coming to Aspen, and that I needed to tell her friends and her family what had happened.
But in that time, I mean, after the fact, looking back, if I had gotten into the States again and continued to work, I definitely don't think I would have started a relationship with Luke. I think I probably would have got sucked into work and still mulled over my emotions for this other guy. And so, hindsight, it's actually a huge blessing that I didn't go back to the States.
So Kirst invites pretty much everyone to come to South Africa that she meets that she thinks is somewhat a normal and good human being. So I was included in that list of people.
8 times out of 10, people don't book a flight.
And then I pretty much booked flights and told her I was coming. So I remember flying into South Africa, and obviously I had like nerves inside me waiting to land and have Kirsty pick me up essentially, but also just looking out the windows and seeing the shacks on one side and the mansions on the other side.
I remember writing in my diary, and I said, on the day that Luke arrived, I said, this might be the day that my life changes forever. And so Luke arrived, and it was a little bit awkward, and I was a little bit nervous, and trying to show him all my best cards in South Africa, take him to the Rock.
Hello!
What's up, guys? We're booking our way to Sunset. Hopefully we'll make it. We got 12 minutes on the GPS.
But I remember the first 2 days were really good. So I thought it was going to get really well.
But it's okay. I was trying to get the mountains in.
About 2 days in, I had enough of this ignorant young American boy who had come to visit that I now had to babysit.
We are exploring the Penguin Beach, the free version. This is Joe. Joey, buddy, come here, say hi to the vlog. Come on, bud. Yes, Joe, you know what's up. Like and subscribe, is that what you said?
And so 2 days in, I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I need a break. I don't want to see this guy. I don't want to hang out with this guy. And I still have a month to go. So took a wild turn. Wasn't done yet.
What's up, guys? So I'm here on the hike up to Table Mountain. Pretty stunning. Kirsty is not with me. She had a lot of errands to run, or she calls it admin.
I wasn't really busy. I just really needed a break from Luke.
And the views are still popping. So a lot of you guys are probably wondering. No one's wondering that. So I came to Africa. Big part of it was to see stuff like this. This is pretty amazing. But a bigger reason I came to Africa was to visit my friend Kirst that couldn't make it back to America because of visa problems. And Kirsty's a special girl, let me tell you. She is the only girl I've met that, you know, really lives life to the fullest in such a chaotic way. I don't know if that makes sense. And a heart that's so wanting and does amazing things, even at the expense of her own comfort, in a sense. But I don't know. I'm just attracted to her because of her personality,
Alright, so we're at this like oasis.
her beauty, and her relationship with God. But it seems like she's at a bit of a different point in life where she's not ready for a relationship, in a sense, you know. And I get that. And I don't know if I am either. That's where we're at right now. We've talked about it and discussed it, and yeah, we're just really good friends at the moment, exploring the beauty of this world, trying to help as many people along the way as we can. So it's cool. It's really cool. I wouldn't have it any other way, really.
Thank you, guys. Siyabonga, salaga, hamagasli.
So we've been picking people up on the side of the road. We came across this group of 4 ladies, and we're like, well, we have room for 2, but they all managed to somehow squish back here with all of our stuff. Through lots of chats in the car, I realized that Kirst was having a bit of a employment dilemma. So I essentially offered her a job to work for Fire Starters for Jesus, which is the podcast. All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 86, I believe, and we're here with a very, well, I wouldn't say she's a guest, the one and only employee of Fire Starters, Kirsty Sinclair. You're in South Africa, as people probably know, but Kirsty runs the whole back end of this whole operation with all the social media.
I think when Luke realized that I wasn't interested in a relationship, he offered me a job, which was interesting. I didn't really know what I was doing, but it seemed pretty chilled because he was going to be in the States, I was going to be working remotely.
So Preston had planned a trip to Costa Rica with Not So Boring Bible to build a house or a few houses. And so I started to plan for Kirsty to come help document the trip, and I just wanted to see her again. And I knew she liked to travel. But then I also had a wedding come up beforehand, like a month before, that was going to be in Switzerland. So from your perspective, like, what was it like, or I don't know, what was the decision behind saying yes to coming to Switzerland? What was the decision in the first place?
Well, the decision is, why not? Get a chance to go to Switzerland. It's a no-brainer for me.
I remember picking her up in Switzerland after she had done some traveling by herself and sitting in the train, just me and her. And the first conversation we had was kind of where she was at with relationships, and that she was not leaving this trip with a boyfriend. And so, yeah, that's how the trip started.
After spending almost a month with Luke in some of the most beautiful countries I've ever seen, I realized he wasn't as bad as I remembered. And with my hackles slowly going down, seeing the Lord work in just such amazing ways, I had a way bigger problem as I realized I slowly started liking him.
And I remember that day in Venice, we were leaving Venice on the train and like seeing Venice like fade off in the background. And I think that day I just had built up confidence to kiss her, and I'd never kissed anyone before, so this was going to be a big move for me. And I remember in the train, like, we were looking out the window and like I think our faces almost touched, and one of us said, like, oh, that was close. I think Kirsty said that, and I was like, well, what if it... I don't remember what I said, but I remember the next thing I did was is I like gave her a little kiss on the lips. And I was so proud of myself. And from that point, I kind of thought we were dating because I had kissed her, and so like that was the initiation needed. But a few days later, we were gonna go to Costa Rica, and we were gonna meet my dad there and Kirsty's mom there, and we had the chat of like, we're actually not sure what we're doing, and like, what our relationship looks like. So let's just put this on pause for now and worry about the trip and the house build and not worry about us. And we'll figure that out after.
I was in this kind of this cognitive dissonance space of, do I like him, do I not? And would this work or would it not? The thing that kept stopping me or kept coming back to was I just had a deep fear that Luke wouldn't be able to love me. And so the day before, I was like, all right, I'm going to put this aside. I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to focus on the house build. Yeah, the next morning, the American team had arrived and we were all having breakfast, and I went and sat next to just some random people. They didn't know who I was. I didn't know who they were. They didn't know if I was part of the Costa Rica team, if I was there with their team. And he asked me, this guy, Kenny, and his wife, he asked me one question, which I think was just about my work. And I kind of vaguely answered while I was still figuring out work at the time. And he just said, I feel 3 things for you. And he said, I feel like you're scared of commitment. And the Lord is saying, let him love you, as in let the Lord love you. And let him love you, whoever he is. And he got up and he walked away.
Finished house build. Chrissy went off with her mom to travel. I went off with my dad. And we reunited again after that. And she was just quite excited to see me. I was excited to see her.
Yeah, when I came and met up with Luke again, the first morning after I'd woken up and was doing my quiet time, Luke woke up and did his quiet time, and again the same thing came up, and I was just like, Lord, he doesn't know how to love me. How is this going to work? And Luke finished his quiet time and he came and he said good morning, and I was like, how was your quiet time? And he was like, yeah, it was really good. The Lord just told me to learn how to love you. And I was just like, I think I just started crying. I don't actually remember.
I remember having deep chats about her past and where she was at with certain things. And I thought she was like opening her heart up to me. And I was like, wow, this is great.
What a trip. Last day, last few hours. Seeing you in the ocean. My goofy goggles that I borrowed from Kirsty. Bittersweet.
And then I thought, okay, this guy like wants a relationship, and I'm kind of like I kind of could see that, but I was really scared to say yes. And so I kind of toyed with God. I was like, okay, if he asks me to be his girlfriend this trip, I'm gonna say yes. And then I was like, I'm going to cover my tracks. And I said to Luke, we're not getting into a relationship until we've spoken about relationships like properly. And so I was like, if it gets to that covered, I can divert. I can be like, we're not ready. So we go through the whole of Costa Rica, and it's the day before, and we have not spoken about relationships. And I'm like chilling, like I'll see him next time. And by then I would have been able to update my friends and family.
While we were getting takeout food, I don't know why that was when I thought it was the best idea to ask her, but I asked her to be my girlfriend.
I was like, what? I was like, where did this come from? We discussed that we were gonna discuss this first. But then in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, I kind of made this bet with the Lord.
And she said yes. And so I was like, wow, that's amazing. I've got a girlfriend now. Like, got her right before I left. This is great.
And then I was overthinking, and I was like, there's no ways I need to bring my family and community into this. So then I took it back an hour later.
She didn't say like, I'm done with you, I'm on a breakup. She's like, just like, I need to think about this more and make a better decision. So I was like, all right.
I was sitting with the Lord that night, just processing and trying to figure out what I was going to do. And I really felt like he wanted me to say yes, not because I needed to be in a relationship, but because if I said no, I wouldn't be able to respect and love myself.
As she said yes to being a girlfriend, I essentially went off on the plane back to America, and she went off and back to South Africa. And that's kind of how our dating relationship started.
All right, this is we're doing a date. We're trying.
I almost didn't make it through long distance. I think towards the end, I was so over the time difference and like the constant change of pace and constant change of life and the constant uncertainty, because Luke wouldn't go away for a certain amount of time and know when he's coming back, or come back and know when he's leaving. Like, he would come back and it would be indefinite until a week before, and he was like, okay, I need to leave. Because
obviously long distance takes away a lot of the creature comforts of being in a relationship, and it actually just like makes parts of life suck more than they are enjoyable. But we both knew we like wanted to pursue this relationship, and so there was a form of sacrifice involved, which I think made it more real and more valuable.
Dang, that's pretty good.
Robin, how would you say I've been? Pretty composed, hey?
Just a little bit stressed.
What? What? Never!
God is good, eh?
All the time.
All the time.
God is good. You're just not showing it to me. Which is fine.